We're here at CoinSummit in San Francisco with Patrick Murck, General Counsel of the Bitcoin Foundation. Thanks for talking with us, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Jared.
So what's new? What's the biggest regulatory, tell us. What are we waiting to hear from the foundation?
Well, no, we're working on a few things. We certainly have a number of initiatives going on both in the U.S. at the U.S. level, at the state level, federal level, and also globally. We've taken some initiatives in a number of different countries. We hired Jim Harper to come on board as our Global Policy Counsel, which I'm very excited about, and he's going to be working D.C., Brussels, pretty much everywhere you can imagine, pushing the good word forward.
So when you look at these other countries, are we going to have to go one by one and get every single one of these countries to understand Bitcoin and how it fits within their structure? Or do they just go, the US is okay with it, the UK is okay with it, we're okay with it?
Well, I think what you're not going to have the resources to do every country in the world. In fact, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to think very strategically. What are the key jurisdictions that you need to get aligned with Bitcoin success? Once you've mapped out what those jurisdictions are, then you need to work it, and from a local level, from the ground up. Find people there who already understand the rules and the regulations, who have the connections already built out, and start working it from that angle. Develop a sane, safe environment on a global level, but do it wisely by picking specific jurisdictions that are of key importance.
So there's been talks of different countries potentially banning Bitcoin. For a while, everyone thought that Thailand banned it. It doesn't sound like they actually banned it. Now they're saying maybe Colombia will in 2 weeks. Do you think any countries are actually going to come out and ban it, or is it not something they would typically do?
Well, it wouldn't be a very good idea if you were that country, that's for sure. I mean, you're going to miss out on a lot of jobs and opportunity and things like that. I think the closest anybody has come so far is Russia, right? And, for whatever it's worth, that it's not necessarily discouraging use there, but it's certainly discouraging legitimate use, which is unfortunate. Normally where you're going to find the most trouble spots are countries that have strict capital controls. Any country that's going to have strict capital controls, that's worried about their own currency and protecting that, is going to be a little bit more leery of Bitcoin and other alternative currencies than other countries.
You think it's practical at all for a country to pass a law where they would actually try to ban it?
Well, people do a lot of things that are unwise. So, I mean, no, I don't think it's particularly practical. I don't think you're going to ban the use of something. Usually, if you're trying to do that, there's another reason you're trying to do it. For example, you have capital controls and inflation is through the roof, and people are going to work their way around that system.
So you think it's more likely that we'll see banning certain use cases? Like, for example, you can buy and sell goods in Brazil, but you can't use it to send money from Brazil to the United States?
Well, I don't think you're, again, I don't think you're going to be able to distinguish between those two use cases very effectively, right? The question is, do you want it to be a legitimate thing or an illegitimate thing in your country? It's not whether it's going to happen or not, it's whether it's going to happen with the good actors involved, building safe and sane, sensible systems with lots of controls in place that account for the policy concerns underlying these reactions. Or are you going to push it underground, right? And let the bad actors control the space potentially.
Cool. Thank you, Patrick. Good talking with you.
Great. Thanks for having me again, Jared.